Welcome to Yoga and Meditation with Alisa. And today we're going to do a yin yoga set specifically for the recovery post-cycling. For those of you, including myself, who are passionate and love to cycle or spin, this set's for you. So go get your props and meet me back at the mat. Welcome back. Today, again, we're going to be working on recovery stretches for your body after you've done a cycling session. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the posture called Seiza. If you remember, Seiza is when you're sitting on your heels. So it's just simply sitting on your heels like this. This is a wonderful stretch for the target area of the quadriceps, which are your upper thighs. You're using that to pedal. Some people have a hard time sitting in Seiza, and it may impact your knees. So feel free to, at any point in time, use any kind of prop between your butt and your heels. I've rolled a towel, but you can use any other prop like a bolster or a block. So I don't need that, so I'm just going to sit here like this. What else I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate a shoulder and upper back stretch. So a lot of times we tend to hunch over, even though they tell us not to when we're cycling. So we're going to also take your right arm and wrap it around and just gently hold on to your left arm kind of at the inside of the elbow. Okay, so get in this posture, and you can, if you'd like to, you could gently just tilt your chin down towards your left armpit, and we're going to hold this for a minute. The name of this posture is gentle bow. So we're getting a nice stretch and stress here on our quadriceps, our shoulder, specifically our right shoulder blade, and a stretch through our neck. It's amazing how much tension we hold in our upper body while we are cycling. So this is an opportunity to give yourself some time to stretch these body parts that can get tense and uncomfortable. We're just holding this for a minute. Notice how you're breathing. And more than likely, you'll really notice that your heart rate is still going fast from your ride. So take this as an opportunity to just let yourself gradually get your breath under control again. We're gonna sweetly unlock the arm and then bring the head gently up and just do the other side. So now it's the left arm that's wrapped around, holding on to the right. Hang out there. Again, you're still in the same Seiza, and you have your head gracefully and gently just kind of leaning towards the right armpit. Again, this is a nice stretch on the neck, and we oftentimes are holding the bike, and sometimes if we're doing hills or interval training, we could be even holding our jaw tight. And this nice stretch, this opening up through the shoulder and the entire scapular system on the left side. But I'm sneaking in the quadricep stretch is actually going to be 2 minutes because we're doing this on each side for a minute. You could always extend this, but I wouldn't do the neck part of the bow, the graceful bow, for more than 2 minutes on each side. I'm going to actually roll my head forward here as I unlock my arm and lift my head gently up. And give yourself a couple breaths here because you might sometimes feel a little lightheaded from holding a stretch in your neck. Our next posture that we're going to do is for the glutes and for the IT band. So we're going to go right into sleeping swan. I'm going to actually do it with the left leg first. So curling the left leg, externally rotating it and folding it in towards your pelvis, and then letting the right leg extend back. For you Hatha enthusiasts, you're going to say, this looks a lot like pigeon, and it is. It's the yin version of it. But we're going to come sleeping, which is lying down. Okay? So we'll go ahead and take this posture for a couple of minutes. And again, you should be feeling this in the target area of the left glute and the IT band that's coming down the side of the left thigh. When we are riding on these bikes, we are using our glute as well. We're using our quads and our glutes as well as our hamstrings when we're moving the pedals. So this gives an opportunity to provide some release of tension of the pumping of that muscle. Again, the target area here is the glute and the IT band on the left leg. You might find that it works better for you and your body to use some sort of a prop. Like here I am hanging out on a bolster. It allows me to really sink into the posture and relax my torso. And when I do that, I can really feel the stress in my quad. Using this opportunity as well to continue to be aware of how you're breathing. You may notice that I've moved a little off center and towards the camera. And you can actually move your torso towards the leg that's bent or away from it until you find that sweet spot where it's really a nice deep stretch, but it's not painful. It's a moderate deep stretch. One last exhale here. And we're going to transition right out of that into what's called dragon. Again, let's just put the left foot flat on the floor. So we've got the left leg still bent. And now the right leg gets extended and I have my knee on the floor. And we're going to hold this for 2 minutes. This is called dragon. You could do an up dragon where you have your hands on your thigh and your spine is up. What am I stretching here? I feel this, of course, in my quad, but the biggest stretch I'm feeling is actually in my right hip flexor and a little bit in my groin. So you can be in the dragon up like this, or you could come down, bring your hands down, or even come onto your elbows. You can even twist the dragon. So I'm twisting my body. When I twist, I'm letting my hip just kind of sink. And it's just a wonderful stretch through the hip flexor. That's the main target area. But for anyone who's been cycling, you're going to feel it in the quad as well. Where you don't want to feel it is in the patella or the kneecap. And so if you notice, I have some padding underneath my knee. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it feels better on your knee. So yin yoga stretches are amazing. You hold for time and you allow the stretch to do its magic during that time. But it's really important that you use props. And for the kneecap, when you're in dragon, you definitely need a prop between yourself and the wooden floor. And for me and for most people, the mat just isn't thick enough. So I have a pad and I also have a sheepskin, but you might want to double up a mat, or you could put a blanket on top of your mat, fold it under your knee, whatever makes sense for you and feels the most comfortable. Okay, we're going to take this now and just come right back with extending the left leg. I'm going to bend my right leg and internally rotate it. So I'm in a hurdle. I'm going to do a forward bend because we're going to do a hamstring stretch here. So I'm going to place something under my butt, but not everybody needs to do that. I'm going to lift up and then allow myself to come over. I'm going to use a prop. And if you notice, I'm rounding the spine. I'm not flat over my leg. But it doesn't matter because as soon as I start to come forward, regardless of if my spine is flat or round, I'm feeling it in the target area, which is the hamstring. So, props can help. I'll grab another block here. You could put a prop on either side of you to let yourself just round forward. Your knee could even be bent. This particular posture is called half frog, and it's part of the caterpillar archetypal yin pose. I actually have a deep dive yoga demo of the caterpillar posture, actually all the postures that we've done today. You could check that out if you want to find out other variations for caterpillar besides what we're doing today, which is half frog, but definitely targeting the hamstring. But what is a secondary target area? Yep, I'm touching it, my spine. The rounded spine is actually a wonderful release for the back. So we do, like I said, we can start to hunch when we're on our bikes. And even though the posture that they want us to do is more of a lifting of the chest, the more tired you get, sometimes when you're doing those hill interval trainings, you do start to round. But I do find that when I round my spine doing this half frog, it's such a wonderful, wonderful release for my lumbar spine, the lower spine. Okay, gradually allow yourself to come up. And we're going to do part of that series on the opposite side. So we started with sleeping swan, right? So we're going to do that now with the right leg. Actually, just put myself here. So I'm bending. Now you can see how I did it this way. I'm bending the right leg in, right? So it's an external rotation. And I'm taking my left leg and I'm letting it be straight. So get into your swan, whatever makes sense for you. Where are we feeling it now? We're feeling it on the right glute and IT band. So we come down. On this side of the body, I can actually come down to the floor pretty easily. When I was doing it with my left leg bent, I wasn't able to do that. And you'll notice when you do these yin yoga poses and stretches or shapes that the right and the left side is really different. So how we are able to stretch one side of the body versus the other can really radically be different. And that's just mostly because of your bones. But if you needed to prop, if that felt better for you, you could use two blocks like I am here. I think when I did this last time I used a bolster, but this is how you could do it with blocks. I'm letting my head hang down, and when my head hangs down, I also get a nice sweet release and stretch for my cervical spine, the neck. Again, the target area here in Sleeping Swan is the glute and the IT band. This is actually part of the shoelace archetype in Yin Yoga. So if you're looking for my deep dive demo series that shows all the different variations of shoelace, that's where you'll find this particular stretch, this variation, which is called Sleeping Swan. Take about one, maybe two more breaths here. And it doesn't matter if my knee is bent or not, as long as I'm feeling it in the target area. We'll come right from here into dragon, with the right leg, the right foot is on the floor, the left leg is bent. Again, we're holding this for a couple of minutes. Each one of these we've been holding for 2 minutes on each side. I'm using a prop here so you can see how placing your hand on a block can assist you. Or you could put both hands on your thigh. If you're going to do that, for sure you want to have some nice padding under your kneecap. But I find when I do this that I kind of am fighting sometimes with the balance. And that's not really letting me stretch the way I'd like to. Again, what is the target area? The target area is the hip flexor on the left. If you're up, you're going to feel it as a small back bend for the lumbar spine. You can also take dragon, again, down. As you can see, and here I'm on this side, I cannot bring my elbows to the ground. But I can if I use the blocks. Why use props in yin yoga? Because it allows you to relax into the posture more. Some people, their bodies don't need to use any props, and for me on the left side, I definitely need a prop to do the down dragon. Or you can do a twisting dragon. Remember with the twist, you're twisting your torso, and then when I do that, I really allow my left hip to sink. And the more I twist, the more I also feel it in the opposite glute. So there's an extra glute stretch. And if you're doing any kind of cycling, you can never do enough glute stretching. All right. Now we'll come back into half frog, which is the right leg is extended, the left leg is internally rotated, and it is a forward bend. So I use a little prop under my butt to lift so that I get out of that pelvic tilt, and it allows me to fall forward. Again, if it helps you to use a prop, you can use a block. You could use a bolster. If you notice, it doesn't matter if I'm over the leg or if I move myself towards center. Because if you just kind of experiment with that, you'll notice that you're still feeling it in the target area, which is the hamstring. And rounding the spine, I get a wonderful stretch in my lumbar spine. I can even hang my head here. Again, this is half frog, and it is in the family of the caterpillar archetype. I'm doing these postures for 2 minutes on each side. That's a little on the shorter end. For most yin poses, typically the minimum stretch would be 3 minutes, but since this is a recovery after you've been riding a bike and your muscles have really been warmed up, most people only want to spend 10 to 15 minutes on recovery anyway. This is a nice opportunity to go ahead and use the 2 minutes, and I think you can get a nice stretch out of it. But if you ever wanted to extend these, you could extend them all to 3 minutes. Or some of them to 3 minutes, depending on what your body is wanting you to do or what your body's craving. Allow yourself to come up and then go all the way onto your back, because we're going into our final rebound. We're done with this quick recovery set. Allow yourself, we're just going to relax here for a minute. And it is important to do that. Lay on your back and actually feel the effects of the yoga on your body. So that means you continue to draw the attention to the body. It's not time to think about other things to do, and it really isn't helpful to cut this short. You're only doing it for a minute anyway. What's one more minute? But it is a wonderful way to connect to how your body has shifted, even from coming off the bike to going through the yoga poses and then laying here at the end. Like, wow, my body's really changed a lot since then. My heart rate is different. Perhaps the sensations, like I feel a wonderful warmth in all the target areas, my hamstrings, my hip flexors, my quads. Okay, stretch your arms over your head, hug your knees into your chest. I told you it would only be a minute. It's pretty quick. Rock yourself up, or you could use your hands to come up. Sitting peacefully, spine straight, still noticing the effects of the yoga. Oh, thank you for joining today. I hope you enjoyed this class. Appreciate your feedback on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Namaste.